Hey everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. Give everybody a few minutes to get here. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day here where I live at. Beautiful day. Just a second, guys. Hey Irvin. How are you? Getting your kid ready for school? Um, hey UC boss. Hey Lisa. How are you guys doing? Springfield, Missouri. You're not too far from me, Lisa. I live in Tennessee. Not too far at all. I don't think. Let me see how far actually Springfield is from where I live. Just curious. While we're waiting to let a few more people get in here. No, not bad at all. I mean, we're about 6.5 hours apart or so, something like that. Not bad at all. There are a couple things that I want to talk about. Mo's coming in a minute, and I'm sure some of the other mods are tied up, in other chats and everything because the Pettito family is going to have a press conference in just a little bit, and I'm going to try my best for us to be able to watch that. There are a couple things I want to talk about that happened last night that not in my chat. That's not that mess is not going to go on. Um, Guys, I'm just pulling up everything. I'm just pulling up chat on my phone and everything. So, excuse me, so that when we watch the video, I'll be able to watch chat myself. First of all, when anyone and I don't want to sound like I'm preaching because I'm really not, y'all. Okay. Hey Capri. When anyone and there you are. I wasn't sure, Capri, if you would be tied up or not. I'm so glad that you were able to stop in and say hi. Um, I don't want anyone to think that I'm preaching. I promise you, I do not want anyone to think that, okay? Because that's not what this is about for me, okay? I love interacting with y'all. I love it. I love it. I love it. But this little girl, Sylvia, that was came into my chat last night and thought she was going to own me, that won't be tolerated. Oh, you're supposed to be in Jay's too, but you can't because you're working. I'm sorry, Capri. Sometimes work interferes with the fun, don't it? But little Sylvia, who thought she was going to come in last night and proceed to, yeah, thank you, Lisa, for that. Sylvia NYC came into my chat last night about 12:30, 12:50. Well, she was in and out throughout the chat. But when I wouldn't reveal a source that had told me some information, she got ugly. She called me the B word and everything else. I don't tolerate that from people that I know. I'm sure not going to tolerate it from people that I don't know. Capri, and I don't know how she did it. I put her in time out, and instantly she was right back saying, "Little girl, you didn't get rid of me." First of all, I'm probably old enough to be her mother. Hey, Breezy. No, no, no. It's okay, Capri. I mean, everything was going smooth until she asked me for a source. And anybody that knows anything about a person having a channel, they're not going to reveal their source. It's not going to happen. I mean, you might tell some mods if you're investigating something, in the mod, amongst your mods, you might reveal it to a couple of mods or whatever. But generally speaking, you don't reveal your source. And I woke up to, like Irvin told me last night, I must be doing something right because they're coming and trying to attack me. I woke up to a message that said someone had left on my someone had left on one of my things on one of my videos. Okay, it was that AD SUP in this, whoever that person is. I blocked them too last night. I don't know how they got through, but they did a LOL, flipped me the bird, and said, "You lady, you think I care about you? You're YOUR, not YOU apostrophe RE. Grifter channel, you creep. First of all, you dumb butt. I'm not even monetized. I don't have 1,000 subs. I don't have 4,000 watch hours. And if I was monetized, anything that I made from this right here would go to Gabby's foundation. But how dare you flip me the bird? Yep, yes, Peachy, it happened. I have the screenshot. In fact, I'm going to email myself the screenshot so that I can try to show y'all, okay? But how dare them? How dare you come in to leave a comment on my chat saying that I'm trying to scam someone? I mean, you need to get a grip. You know what? You wouldn't say that to my face. You would not say that to my face. I can promise you that. I'm nice, but don't mistake my niceness as a way that you can mistreat me. Don't even think about going there. I can promise you, in this lifetime, I've been to hell and back, and I survived it. So nothing that you can say or do to me on YouTube is going to take me down. Yes, they do feel powerful behind the screen. They do. You want to know where I was at when I saw that message? I was sitting in my doctor's office. Do you know how hard it was to compose myself, not to lose my temper? Hey, Ginger. Yeah. Thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate each and every one of you. I just genuinely want to show you what we're dealing with. Okay? These are the people that we are dealing with. Let me find it again, guys. Yeah, there it is. Okay. It's attaching. I'm emailing it to myself. Thank you guys. These are the facts. I've been to hell and back. I've lived a life that most women would never survive. Most men would never survive. And I came out on top. And I can promise you, you're not taking me down. You're not. And I know that there is at least one creator that would love nothing more than to never see me go live again. Guess what, chick? You're going to deal with me. I'm going to go live every single day. If it's nothing but to talk about what my dog is doing, I will be live. If you don't like it, build your bridge and get over it. Because I hate it with these people who think that they are entitled. You are self-entitled people. You're not entitled to anything. You don't have the guts to start a channel and go live. You don't have it in you. So you want to come and attack me? Wrong one. Wrong Paco. Wrong one. Breezy, that's funny. Irvin, I said, you told me last night I must be doing something right. Dadgummit. They done got up all in my Cheerios and everything. Made me mad. I was sitting in the doctor's office trying to keep a smile on my face and looking at somebody that had flipped me the bird. Let me show y'all real quick before we go over and try to catch this. Before we go over and try to catch this press conference. There we go, guys. That's what they did too. That's what they did. Flip me the bird. Yeah, thank you all for the thumbs up. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone for being here. Sorry, Capri. You know I'm not usually like this, Capri. But these people done got me wound up. And I can promise you, you think you're going to take me down? You better pack your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 3 stacks because you're going to need it for the energy if you think you're going to take me down. I'm not a grifter. Everything that I have, my husband and I have worked very hard for. I'm 46 years old. In 2 years, my house will be paid for free in the clear. Can you say that? This person who chose to call me a grifter and flip me off? Okay. I'm going to exit off this because the press conference is going to start. Let me get over here to the press conference. I just wanted to show y'all what these people are acting like, okay? They're not speaking yet, guys. I'm on WFLA's Twitter account, and it says that they're set to speak any moment. Is anybody else seeing it shown anywhere else that I'm missing? Thank you, Ginger. It does take a lot of courage. Yeah, that was a nice try for them, Irvin. It was a nice try. Guys, if y'all don't mind, hit that thumbs up. Leave your DNA for me while we're waiting. Hello, Mo. I'm glad you're here, Mo. We may have to kneecap somebody, Mo. I'm refreshing, guys, okay? If y'all see it anywhere else, I'm on WFLA's Twitter, and it says that it should be starting soon. But if anyone else happens to see it before I do, let me know. We're in this together. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to go to this one right here. I think I found it.
And then immediately afterwards, you can stay right here on this live stream, whether or not you're watching on WFLA.com, our app, on Facebook, or on YouTube, wherever you're watching from. We are then going to continue the conversation here, what we've learned in this press conference. Again, a lot of questions and comments about the search efforts underway here in the Tampa Bay area. So don't go anywhere. As soon as the press conference here is done, we'll continue the conversation, let you know what the latest is as far as the cause that is so loud and vibrant online, the justice, hashtag justice for Gabby cause here. So let's kind of listen in here for a moment. This is, again, a 1 o'clock press conference that is about to get underway here live from New York. And we're anticipating hearing from members of Gabby Pettito's family here. Justin, Masa, I would imagine, we'll kind of keep this up here full screen here for you folks. But I would imagine this is going to be an emotional press conference here for Gabby Pettito's family, Nicole Schmidt, Jim Schmidt, whoever's going to be speaking here.
Yeah, I got emotional just listening to Justin, talk about that song and talk about, how her family wants her life to be remembered, not just her death. It's going to be very interesting to hear what they have to say, Justin.
And we know her father, Joseph Pettito, has announced on Twitter the formation of a Gabby Pettito Foundation looking to help other families that sadly might end up in a similar situation as this. And we know just her case alone has just brought back so much attention to these other missing person cases across the country. But this one really has captivated the country, guys, and just eager to see what the family attorney and her parents have to say. And there comes Mr. Stafford.
All right, here comes the family. Yeah. Oh, wow. A lot of members of the family. There's Richard Stafford, the attorney here. There's Nicole Schmidt. There's Jim Schmidt, Joe Pettito, other members of the family here. Let's listen in live, and then we'll continue to talk here with you live on WFLA Now after the press conference concludes.
Good afternoon. From the moment Nicole called to report that Gabby was missing, the worst fears of any parent played out before our eyes. That nightmare became a reality when the Grand Teton search and rescue team located their beautiful daughter. During that time, they had an outpouring of love and affection and sympathy from not just their family and friends, but from the law enforcement community, the press, and from people around the world. And for that, they thank you. They've been given the time and the space to grieve this awful loss. And we ask that you continue to respect their privacy and give them the space and time to go through this difficult process. Gabby Pettito was a beautiful woman. Her infectious smile and love of life made people gravitate to her. Gabby Pettito loved life, loved people, and loved experiences. She was the bright light in everyone's life that knew her. Gabby's family does not want that light to dim, and they want to make some good from this awful tragedy. That's why they're starting the Gabby Pettito Foundation. I'm joined today with Joe and Tara Pettito, with Jim and Nicole Schmidt, and close friend Gary Ryder. They're going to make some statements, and after that, we're going to take some questions. Nick. No?
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that we encountered out west in Wyoming, all of the law enforcement agencies out there and across the country for doing an amazing job with locating Gabby. Especially want to thank the Teton County Search and Rescue Team, who is a all-volunteer agency that come together. They are highly trained, and they were a part of that mission to find Gabby, and they did an unbelievable job. We're so grateful for everybody out there. They were second to none. They were unbelievable, and we are forever grateful for that. And everybody back home who helped us as well. It was amazing that we were able to get her. We're just happy to have her.
How you doing? I'd actually like to thank all you guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the media, press, especially the people that are behind the camera. All right, they don't get enough credit for what it is that they do, and so I do appreciate all them. Social media has been amazing. So I just like to thank everyone, for that. I do. It is greatly appreciated. That was very helpful in bringing our daughter home. So thank you very much.
I don't think we can thank everybody enough. I really want to thank the Aware Foundation and We Help the Missing for putting her poster out there. It reached over 2 million people within 48 hours. It's all over the world. Yeah. And I especially want to thank Detective Tracy Barry of the 5th Precinct here in Patchogue, because without her, we don't know when this would have even happened. She got the ball rolling. She's my angel, and I thank her the most. Thank you.
At this time, we'll be taking questions.
Dr. Burns, NBC News. The hashtag Justice for Gabby has been trending. You mentioned how much social media has been helpful in locating her and in this investigation. What does Justice for Gabby look like from here?
Can we answer that?
Yeah.
Justice for Gabby is that we see justice for her homicide. The FBI has classified her death a homicide. They are the premier agency in the country. They're investigating her death, and we believe through their investigation, we will have justice for Gabby.
Rick,
Yes.
we haven't heard from the Laundrie family. We haven't been able to hear much from the FBI. They can't share a lot with us about Brian's whereabouts. Is there anything that you can tell us about the efforts to find him, what the family thinks about where he might be, and the Laundrie family silence?
Again, for the Laundrie silence, the Laundries did not help us find Gabby. They sure is not going to help us find Brian. For Brian, we're asking you to turn yourself in to the FBI or the nearest law enforcement agency.
Yesterday, the Laundrie family released a statement saying that Mr. and Mrs. Laundrie are not helping Brian get away and hide. Do you believe?
That's for the FBI to investigate. I believe that they're the preeminent law enforcement organization in this country, and I know they're investigating all avenues of this case.
Rick, Trevor L. from ABC. You touched on trusting the FBI here. Does it bother the family at all that Brian Laundrie is still not named as a suspect in Gabby's disappearance?
The parents are 100% happy with the FBI. They've been with us at every single step of the way, and we know that they will bring justice for Gabby.
Foundation for Gabby from CNN. Can you or the family talk at all about or describe what kind of contact you had with the Laundrie family since early September, and what your previous relationship was like with that family while Gabby and Brian Laundrie were leaving? Any sort of insight you can give us?
We're not going to talk about the relationship between the Pettito, the Schmidt, and the Laundrie family. The Pettito and Schmidt family have spoken with the FBI, and they've requested that we don't discuss any relationship between Gabby, between Brian, or between the three families.
Can you just about the foundation?
Yes.
If you don't want her light to go dim, so what will the foundation do to keep the light shining?
We're just hoping that through our tragedy with losing Gabby, that in the future that some good can come out of it, that we can help other people that may be in a similar situation, reach out to these other organizations that do similar things and find out what's missing. You know, what can we do to fill that void? What can we do to help people? Just from the Aware Foundation alone and reaching 2 million people, they told us that other law enforcement agencies are now starting to look back at other missing persons cases and starting to reinvestigate them and look into them. And we're just hopeful that we're able to help people in the future, you know, just try to get through something similar.
In the vein of not letting pro life go, Jim, I noticed mom and dad have some new tattoos that resemble that of Gabby. Would you be willing to tell us about that?
Yeah, these were tattoos that Gabby designed herself. She was an artist, and
I wanted to have her with me all the time.
so we all
I feel it. This helps.
we all put them. We all.
Can you all show us?
Show us.
Wow.
Everybody.
It's all right, we do. Let it be. Let it be.
Believe.
Yeah, sure.
And you said Gabby designed this.
Gabby drew this one.
Yeah.
Listen, here's the end all, right? We
Yeah,
need positive stuff to come from the tragedy that happened. All right. We can't let her name be taken in vain. We need positive stuff. All right. So anything that we can do to bring that up and help people, that's what we want to do.
Joe, do you think Ryan's through a lot?
I'm not going to talk about that.
Yes.
For music, just about the community coming together. I mean, we've been at the memorial almost every day, and you have people coming from all over Long Island, from Montauk to the West End, because they all say they felt such a connection to Gabby. Like somebody said, she reminds them of her son, things like that. What does that mean to you? That she just drawn emotions from so many people over the country. I mean, I'm sure, and your Blue Point community with the candles being lit. Can you just step up and possibly respond to that outpouring and what it's meant to you?
I don't know how to respond to that. I just hope that people are inspired by her. It's hard to put into words, but it means a lot to me that she's touched so many lives already, and it's only 2 weeks into it, and I'm so proud of her for doing this, and we're gonna keep it going. Like you said, keep the light going and help a lot of people if we can.
And will the foundation just be for missing children or missing adults as well? I think it said children, but I didn't know.
We're still working out, you know, this has only been a few days, so we're still working that out. We want to help in any way we can. I just want to add to the last question that we've received letters, emails, cards from all over the world, from Australia, from Europe. We had people from Italy. We had people at the funeral that came from as far away as Texas, as Florida, as California. So people from all over the country have called and sent their well wishes.
Can you confirm that the fraudulent activity that Brian's been charged with, was that Gabby's card that he was using?
That's something you're going to have to talk to the FBI about. That I know that they have unsealed an indictment, so I believe they would be the best agency to deal with that.
And just a question for Joe. Joe, you mentioned social media. Can you tell me, do you feel obviously that the outpouring of people all across the world with tips coming in, that social media helped find Gabby? And how do you feel knowing that she was someone who wanted, you know, she was in social media, the video she made, everything else?
I don't want to dismiss the ridiculously hard work that the FBI and law enforcement all around did, but social media has been amazing and very influential. And to be honest, it should continue for other people too. This same type of heightened awareness should be continued for everyone. And that goes for you all too.
Joe, your words at the memorial service were very touching to many people. And I'm wondering if you've heard from people who heard your words about being inspired by Gabby's life and also leaving bad relationships.
Yeah, you know, why don't you do that?
Again, we've received messages from individuals on many issues since we started the foundation, and there are some that were really personal, and at this point we're not going to get into that.
Has the family spoken with Jen Bethune, the woman who took the video of the van?
we've spoken with numerous people that gave tips to the FBI and to us.
So they have spoken with Jennifer?
I believe they have.
What do you make of people like Doug the Bounty Hunter and John Walsh getting involved in looking for Brian Laundrie?
Again, we, just like we ask for help to look from everyone, that if they see Brian Laundrie or any information on that, we're asking that they call the local law enforcement or the FBI. We welcome everybody's help to find him. And if you have any information, we're asking that you call the FBI tip line or your local police department. So we'll take help from everybody.
What's the plans for remains? Has FBI ever contacted you about timing or when that might be back?
Do you want to do it?
I'll talk about it. So, part of our goal was we wanted to bring her home as quickly as possible, but it's important for the FBI, the Teton County Sheriff's, the Teton County Coroner's Office to hold on to her for as long as they need. We want to make sure that no matter what, we do not impede their investigation in any way. We wanted her home immediately, but we understand their position, and we know that she's safe with them, and as long as she's with them. And it was a very tough decision to have to make to come home, but we felt it was important to come home so we could mourn her and celebrate her life and be with our family and friends. And when they're ready to release her, we will be bringing her home.
Have you gotten any of her things back from Florida?
Not yet.
Jim and Joe, you guys made a plea to the world, the country, the world, to help lead you to Gabby and help you find Gabby. Do you have a similar plea for the world to help you find Ron?
I want to help. I want to ask everyone to help all the people that are missing and need help. And like I said before, it's on all of you, everyone that's in this room, to do that. And if you don't do that for other people that are missing, that's a shame. Because it's not just Gabby that deserves that. So look to yourselves on why not that's not being done.
And with Brian, that's our focus is still on mourning Gabby and honoring Gabby. The FBI is doing everything they can, and we have our full faith in them.
Can you say anything about what your understanding is of what was going on between September 1st and September 11th? Is this something you're going to talk about?
No, we're not going to comment on that. That's part of the investigation at this point.
And I understand.
Shot of the four parents again with your tattoos just all together. Oh yeah, sure. Maybe. Sorry.
That's all right. In front of the mics, there's a lot of wires.
I know. Just,
You guys took Joe?
when did you have these done?
We all had it done last time.
Oh, wow.
We all did it together. Like you said, we've always co-parented Gabby together, and that's not going to stop now. We're in this together.
And do three of them say let it be, and then mom's or says?
Mom has let it be as well.
I'm sorry, is that Gabby's handwriting? Is it or is it just?
This is the way she had it written.
That's why she had it on her arm.
Yeah. So we all did it. Oh, you want to rest? Yes.
Yeah, the one on your arm.
And did you always have that line on your finger, or did you?
Gabby had that line.
And you got that
Yeah.
recently, or?
I got that last night too.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw the bandage on it.
Yeah, I took one. I'm sorry. Very sorry. Thank you. Listen, you guys have been great. I appreciate every one of you and all the people, like I said, that are behind the cameras that don't get the credit. You guys were instrumental, but everyone deserves the same type of awareness and the same type of stuff. So, thank you all. We're good? We're good.
What's next? Guys, I apologize.
Just have one question over here. What's next?
We don't stop.
Yeah, we don't stop, remembering Gabby and keeping her name out there and and fighting for other people out there like her. She's always with us every day. She's giving us signs. It's difficult. You know, we've been talking. We don't, like, where do you go from here? How do you go back to normal, whatever normal may be from here on out? But we have each other. We're a big family. We have a huge support network, and we're just going to keep pushing forward and living every day and loving every day, because that's what Gabby did, and that's what we need to do.
You know, a lot of people would be very angry right now. Can you talk about, or do you at some level have anger, or is it just not happening now?
We go through our bouts. It's an emotional roller coaster. There's ups and downs. Days that were full of pain and grief. Sometimes angry, but you stop, you take a breath. Remember Gabby and all the great times we had with her, all the good memories, and all the good things we want to do in her name in the future. And that's what picks you up. That's what carries you through. And hopefully will keep us going from here on out.
And Jim, what kind of signs has she been giving you? Can you just step up a little bit for me? Thanks.
We actually got behind a car yesterday, and there was a Wyoming sticker, and the letters were GBZ.
Gabs.
So Gabs. She's with us. She's with us.
She's with us.
All right.
She's with
I
us.
think we're good.
The signs are there. You just have to look for them.
Thank you all so much.
Appreciate everyone.
Thank you.
We don't stop remembering Gabby. That's the message, the focus for Gabby Pettito's family, showing tremendous strength here at a press conference in New York. They've created the Gabby Pettito Foundation while mourning their daughter here in New York, and collectively now calling for justice for Gabby as the FBI continues their homicide investigation. Let's bring in our entire team here, folks. 8 on your sides, Masa Saidi, WFLA News Channel 8's Justin Shecker here with us. Masa, I know it's been emotional here,
Yeah.
and let's first and foremost, we're going to take some of your hashtag HJB, hashtag HMasa, hashtag HJustin comments here. Let's just, for a moment here, folks, let's just kind of take off our reporter hat just for a second here, and let's just comment, all of us as human beings, the strength that we had here, the unbelievable strength by this family. It's unbelievably touching. I think it radiates and it spreads through the world. I think just how strong and brave and courageous these are. This family is. Masa, what do you think?
Very moved by the tattoos. Very moved by it. The family, all of them last night getting Let It Be. It was a tattoo that Gabby had. Very emotional to me. Very beautiful way to remember her.
Justin.
Just this whole idea of, we see this, JB, where people try to turn tragedy into something positive. You heard from Joseph Pettito calling out all the media in the room there, in the New York media market, networks all there, that you need to give the same level of attention to other families that go through these similar nightmares where their children go missing. We did hear a lot about this foundation to try to keep her bright light alive, and how this family will remain committed to celebrating the life of their daughter, but also trying to help other families that sadly end up in similar situations.
Everybody bear with me here. We are trying to reconnect with some of our audience here where we lost signal. So I'll continue. Why don't you guys continue just to break down here what we've learned here in this press conference?
Well, I will tell you, what we didn't really learn anything more about. The family was very careful, obviously on the advice of their attorney, to not release any information at all about, the criminal investigation. Reporters had all sorts of questions. Do you have any idea what was happening from September 1st to September 11th? They declined to answer that question. Reporters asked, are you upset that Brian Laundrie is just named a person of interest, that he's not named a suspect? And the family said that they were very happy with the FBI. We also learned that Gabby Pettito's remains are still in Teton County, and Gabby Pettito's stepfather said that the family fully supports that. They know that she's in good hands there. Justin, what stood out to you?
I think there was one quote I wrote down. I believe it was Jim Schmidt might have said this, that the Laundrie family did not help find Gabby. They don't think they're going to help find Brian, but they were very limited in terms of answering questions about Brian. Obviously, they wanted to keep the focus of this press conference on announcing this foundation in her memory. You did hear throughout the press conference, the family reaffirmed their confidence in the FBI
Yeah.
to go forward with this investigation. But you also heard Joseph Pettito talk about the influential role that social media played in this. There was
Yeah.
one particular question about the Bethune family who had that GoPro video
Yeah.
that placed the white van
August
on
27th.
August 27th, not too far from where they found the remains in the camping area there in Bridger Teton National Forest. So again, but just hammering this point home that they hope their daughter's story will bring more attention to other situations of other missing children. They're still working out exactly the mission of the foundation,
Yeah.
but that seems to be what the focus will be, to try to help other families who end up in sadly similar situations.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to be looking into a void that exists in the search for missing persons nationally and try to tailor her foundation to that. And also, I want to just bring up a reporter asked about Dog the Bounty Hunter being involved in the search for Brian Laundrie. And Gabby Pettito family attorney said that, quote, "We welcome everyone's help," but he did, urge JB, anyone with information, I assume, including Dog the Bounty Hunter, to contact the FBI. Now, we don't know if the FBI knows about this alleged Fort DeSoto
If I could just jump in, we did reach out to the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office for our viewers outside of the area here. Fort DeSoto is a beautiful beach park area on the southern tip of Pinellas County, right near the Skyway Bridge. So this is the official word from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. Quote, "We are not conducting an investigation at Fort DeSoto. We are unaware of any confirmed sightings. We will continue to refer you to Northport PD for any further questions." So that was the official response this morning from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office to the Dog the Bounty Hunter lead. So I just wanted to make sure we got out the official statement from the law enforcement in that county.
And also Paul Lamison, which is a photojournalist, one of our photojournalists on the air every single day throughout this. I talked with him this morning around 8:30. He had flown over using Eagle 8, our helicopter.
We have
over
that
all of the
video.
relevant scenes
Hold that
of
right there,
this.
Masa.
Okay.
Hold that right there, because well, let's get to some of the hashtag Hey JB, hashtag Hey Masa, hashtag Hey Justin comments and questions here. And yes, we are going to be featuring some of the really nice ones. In fact, let's start with a nice one. Let's start with a really kind one. Kelly Kern, hashtag Hey JB. My prayers are with Gabby's family and friends, and then a lot of the prayer hands emojis there, and we other comments coming in here. But if you'd like your comment to be featured here, you can ask a question about where this goes forward. Now you can ask, or you can point a comment about just what you thought of the press conference here by Gabby Pettito's family. If you use one of the three hashtags that we have here, JB Moss, hashtag Hey JB, hashtag Hey Masa, hashtag Hey Justin, we can animate your comment here on screen. If you don't want to be featured in that way, just don't use the hashtag and we'll let it continue go. Scroll through our comment section here. But let's get to Sierra Moore, hashtag Hey JB. Can you give us any insight on the campsite that Dog the Bounty Hunter found? So let's just kind of rewind here now to Saturday. This is Dog the Bounty Hunter knocking on the front door of Brian Laundrie's home. They did not answer. 911 was called. Clearly the media all over this because they've been parked outside of the house waiting. And then this morning here, to Masa's note, and Masa, I'll bring it back in here.
Yeah.
This is the Eagle 8 HD video of the campsite at Fort DeSoto, and there was nothing out here quite literally but crickets.
Yeah, the Paul Lamison, our chief photojournalist, up in the air for us every single day on the search. There was nothing visible to him at Fort DeSoto. This is some of the footage that he shot this morning. Doesn't mean that, something might not have been happening behind the scenes, but nothing that was visible to him. Same thing with the Carlton Reserve as well. He also flew over that scene, but we do want to talk about kind of this new information from Dog the Bounty Hunter. Now, he says that he has reason to believe that on two separate occasions, from September 1st to September 3rd, and again from September 6th to September 8th, that Brian Laundrie's family booked a campsite here at the Fort DeSoto campgrounds. Now, I went online, I looked into this a little bit this morning. There's 236 campsites, site number 1 to 85. That's if you have a van or something, or you want to put up a tent. And according to Dog the Bounty Hunter, and again, we haven't confirmed this, but he spoke very passionately about this. He said that they initially, from September 1st to 3rd, and remember, Brian Laundrie arrived back at his Northport home on September 1st alone without Gabby Pettito.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're saying that on that day, according to Dog the Bounty Hunter, the family went on a 3-day trip and they stayed at Campground Space 1. And he's saying that again, on September 6th to 8th, the three of them went back And this is the huge, allegation or claim that Dog the Bounty Hunter is making, that only 2 of them left that campground.
Yeah, I want to hop in here, Justin. Hold that thought for a second here, because Josh Benson just came through here with a bit of a breaking news update that we can independently report and confirm here. So this is from Josh Benson, who you might have just seen on WFLA News Channel 8. And he says, in my attempt to independently confirm the Laundries were at the Fort DeSoto campground, what you're looking at here in the center of your screen, in Pinellas County from September 6th to the 8th, we can confirm Brian Laundrie's mother checked in to the Fort DeSoto campground. This is it now. This is another pin, another thumbtack on the board here as far as adding more now to the timeline, and that the dates are very important here. So Brian Laundrie's mother, Roberta Laundrie, checking in, and we don't know if she was. We can't, say if whether or not she was alone. We do have the mother, just the actual evidence that she checked in on September 6th through the 8th at Fort DeSoto campground in Pinellas County. Very curious to see if this is now we don't know if this is information that the FBI has had for some time, Masa and Justin. We don't know
They
if
keep
this is
things
something
to
that
the
they've
vest. I mean, we know we're dealing with the FBI here. I mean, they're going to keep lots of their vest. I just want to jump in one point. When Masa was talking about the timeline, the reason they time-stamped when Brian Laundrie returned to Northport is that the license plate reader picked up the white camper van registered to Gabby Pettito around 10:30 in the morning on September 1st. If you saw the aerials from our friend Paul Amison, there is a similar checkpoint license plate scanner that you think any investigative agency will be able to go back, guys, and be able to see if indeed that red truck belonging to the Laundrie parents did go through that checkpoint to get there. So that would seem to be one way to confirm whether or not this family was indeed there. But now we are seeing, there's potential reports that they might have been there. So I imagine those license plate readers, guys, is one key piece to help track the vehicles to see indeed if the Laundrie family vehicle was at the park on these dates that Dog the Bounty Hunter is reporting.
And also there would be a reservation slip, some sort of record. It costs about $34 a night to rent out one of these campsites. So if they stayed there and used their actual real names, then there would be a record of that. Now, Dog the Bounty Hunter has had multiple interviews with different outlets, and he's kind of jumped around a little bit on this about whether there's any surveillance video. I believe at the entrance of the park, there might be some
There's
video.
likely a camera there with the license plate.
Right.
Yeah. And
What
that we
does
did
it
see there
show?
is Paul said that there is a toll booth there. That's very, very important. I have to just file a correction here for our audience here. I was reading that from Josh. I thought that was written by Josh. That is another media outlet there confirming. So I just want to make that very, very clear that WFLA News Channel 8 hasn't independently confirmed that the Laundries were at the Fort DeSoto campground in Pinellas from 6th to the 8th. That is another media outlet here. But this is just another now piece of all of this now coming together. And I'm sure that our WFLA team here is working the phones here to confirm this information here as well. But that, again, that is not confirmed by WFLA News Channel 8. So I misspoke there based on the email that had just come in from Josh. So my apologies there to our audience here. My apologies to the audience here. I want to be very, very transparent here with how we go about the news. I didn't see it as a quote. I thought it was written by Josh himself on a keyboard, and it was not.
So, but what's very interesting, and this was one of the questions that came up, was kind of what happened, and the family didn't really want to talk about this, between the 1st and the 11th. We know from having pieced together their journey out west, we've talked about what happened in Moab, Utah. I believe it was on August 12th. We know August 19th, Gabby and Brian posted that long video on the YouTube page, appearing to be happy everything was okay. We know the 27th, we heard the report. There's a young woman on Instagram talking about the fight she observed at the restaurant in, I believe, in Wyoming. And then, of course, that key piece of evidence, the video placed in the van there. And we know the FBI
Very
is still
close to where her body
very
was
close.
discovered.
And the FBI is still focusing on the 27th to the 30th.
Asking for people.
And then from the
to come forward. That was out in Wyoming.
And then from the arrest
Bridger
warrant,
Teton National Park.
yes, and from the arrest warrant, they know its activities, the credit card bank fraud from after her homicide. And so now the question is, what happened with Brian Laundrie and his parents from September 1st to September 11th, when Northport PD showed up that night and they just handed them the attorney's card from Mr. Berlino. This is our attorney. Where was Brian in those 11 days? Where is he now? And that has to be the focus of trying to figure this out. And imagine the FBI, if Dog the Bounty Hunter has contacted them, will try to verify these reports that the family went to this campground. You're looking right on your screen there, during that 1st to the 11th.
Guys, if I could hop in here, I just want to get to some of the, Mossy, you have a quick note. I want to get to some of the comments
as
here.
of 11 last night, Dog the Bounty Hunter was telling reporters he had not contacted the FBI, which is why I imagine the Pettito family attorney said, we'll take anyone's help, but contact the FBI. JB?
I want to take this one really quickly because this is new information here, and I can answer this question based on information that has been available in our newsrooms of late, or newsroom recently. Kelly and Chris Weaver, hashtag HJB, hashtag Hey Massa, hashtag Hey Justin, is the FBI out still searching the reserve? Paul Lamison this afternoon, about an hour ago, made did a pretty thorough flight over the Carlton Reserve. It's a very vast area, 25,000 acres, but Paul was just there and he couldn't find any search efforts. Now, as a reminder, yesterday, Monday, the 27th here, that was when the FBI and Northport Police were scaling back at Carlton Reserve, saying that the search was now being targeted based on intelligence. But when Eagle flew over yesterday, it was a considerably smaller search effort at the vast wilderness that is the Carlton Reserve near Myakkahatchee. Today, a return flight, doing our due diligence, going back over there, Paul Lamison and Eagle 8 HD, and couldn't find anything. And not to say that they're not there, but Paul did a very thorough, flight over the area and could not find an active search there on the ground. Again, could still be on the ground there searching, but it seems as if they are considerably scaling back here from the search efforts that we were talking about last week. Some more comments here. I want to get through some of these because there are some extremely kind comments here. Bonnie Medina, hashtag AJB, to Gabby's family. May your happy memories bring light to your darkness. Jill Englot here, hashtag HJB. Absolutely love this family. In the middle of what I can only imagine as complete devastation, they made sure to say more than once that everyone missing deserves attention. I echo this so much because Gabby Pettito's father, Joe Pettito, speaking out there several times, pointing to the media. It falls on all of us here to step up our game when it comes to missing person cases in this country. It falls on all the online sleuthers out there, the YouTubers, TikTokers, everybody on Twitter and Instagram, all these folks. We've pooled so much in resources and so much attention into the Gabby Pettito story. There are other missing person cases out there that deserve attention too. Yeah.
And in general, the reason that many news agencies, as having been a journalist along with everyone here for more than a decade, the reason that news agencies don't immediately cover every missing persons case is quite often the person will be found. And, as an adult, you have a right to go out. So ordinarily, news organizations don't start covering a missing persons case until the police get involved, until there's very suspicious circumstances. And anytime that the family is heavily involved and the entire community is looking for a missing person, that also ups the amount of coverage that you have. But absolutely, this case has gotten coverage that I can't remember another missing person case in recent memory getting this much coverage.
I think that this is going to change the conversation. I think it's a big game changer as far as missing persons in this country, and with all the technological means here. And we know when you get an Amber Alert, right? Your phone buzzes, everyone's phone within the coverage area for that Amber Alert just starts going off the hook, and that very loud sound that you get on your phone for an Amber Alert. But I think there's going to be more conversations now, and perhaps spurred by the Gabby Pettito Foundation that's been created. More conversations. It's about how can we be better and how can we prevent future tragedies connected to missing person cases in this country. Laura Lee Bunnell Glenn, hashtag HJB. What a beautiful unity shown between both Gabby's families.
Yeah.
Speaks to, she was so wonderful. Yeah, we have Gabby Pettito's father and stepfather there and other members of the family here, all of them showing complete unity. Massa was really touched.
I was about to cry, and I stopped before, and that's because you just think about how they're dealing with such incredible pain at that moment, and they want to have something, and they put that tattoo on their arm so they can just touch it, they can hold it. I just felt that mother's pain. I just thought it was such a beautiful moment. I hope it brings her some bit of peace that her daughter is with her. And did anyone hear, did she design that tattoo? I know it was based on her favorite song, but I believe she actually designed that.
Well, it's touching that it was Let It Be, right? I mean, who doesn't know that song? And that song is so amazing and just its message and what it means to people on a personal level. So you see Let It Be, and this all speaks to who Gabby was as a person. And it just strikes a chord with people because you just wish that that she was here. You wish that Gabby Pettito was here. We all wish that we weren't live with all of this endless coverage about this terrible tragedy that occurred, this homicide that occurred in the area of Northwest Wyoming, and you just wish that the circumstances were different. But it speaks to how amazing of a person Gabby was, and how she really did touch so many, and she was beloved within her family. Darcy Byrne, hashtag KJB, the family has been so strong. Keep in mind, there are other children in the family too. And I've been in contact with Gabby Pettito's family. I've been talking to Nicole Schmidt over the last week or so. And yes, there are siblings there. And this is something that they, I think that adults are a little bit more, and no one's equipped to handle a tragedy of this magnitude. This is terrible, but for kids and teens need more guidance than adults do, given the circumstances that are this tragedy. So that's a really great point by Darcy, and I really appreciate Darcy bringing it up here. Kelly Kearns, hashtag KJB, my prayers are with Gabby's family and friends. I think we took this one earlier here, and now we can start to see some of the other comments that are coming in here. Carol Alford, hashtag KJB, I am very proud of this family, the pain they must feel, but not allowing to let this story drop until they have justice. Took a lot of courage here. And let's listen, let's also take a comment like this. We're talking so much about Gabby Pettito's parents, but how about Brian Laundrie's parents? Patty here is saying, hashtag KJB, are the parents being kept an eye on? What's to say that they won't disappear too? And I think that this is one of the many reasons why every time they leave the house here, their every movement, Justin, is being monitored there in Northport, Florida.
And we do know about that trip last week where they drove to Orlando, JB. One of my interesting observations on that, us here in the Tampa Bay media market, we've been all over this story. I thought it was very interesting. Stephen Berlino flew to Orlando that day, not to TPA, and the parents went over to Orlando to meet with him, and that was right on the cusp of the arrest warrant coming out. I don't think that was coincidental, JB, that they went to Orlando, not to Tampa. Just one point. But to keep the focus on Gabby, I just had this one quote I really want to read from Richard Stafford, the attorney for the family. In the opening statement, he said, Gabby loved life, loved people, loved experiences, and they hope the goal of the Gabby Pettito Foundation is they do not want her light to dim. That really jumped out at me, JB, in the opening. Just really, they came out there today to announce this foundation, and just, we know she was an artist. We know she loved to travel, and just, again, this family is dedicated to keeping her memory and her spirit alive.
I want to taking my reporter hat off for a second. I think just the way that Gabby lived her life in the moment, I think that has been inspiring, for me, for all of us, and I think the family would appreciate that. But what stood out to me about this was that the mom taking the time to thank the detective, the female detective, and the 5th precinct, this is in New York, the person that helped and finally listened to her to file that missing persons report. And the mother said, quote, she's my angel, and I thank her the most. And this goes back to the point that I was making about a lot of times missing persons cases, they don't get the attention, not just from the media, but from police. So it does take that mom that will just not drop it and is going to stay on it to grab the attention.
And we know she had those suspicious text messages from late August where she was like, this is not my daughter. We know her Instagram account has been so meticulously scrutinized with the geotags, the last 2 posts. So as I said on our stream last week, JB, it's still remarkable to me that within 8 days of that report being filed, they located this young woman's body out there. I mean, that just goes to show the amount of attention. You heard Joseph Pettito say, hats off to the FBI, but can't you,
the public right there.
Yeah, everyone watching
JB every day.
And when I talked to Joseph Pettito's 2 weeks ago today, he said, I want you to see the images, get them in your head. He wanted everyone to share her story, call the tip line, and just, they were obviously concerned. They got it out there, and they can't thank all of you enough for providing the FBI these tips, especially, the ones with the videos of the vans and everything else. And again, Gabby is still not home. The family said they want her to remain in the coroner's there to do the full investigation. But again, they just expressed their gratitude to all of you at home who have shared her story, shared her photos, and now it's just a matter of getting justice for Gabby.
It's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks, if you want to take what the parents have said, 2 weeks since Brian Laundrie allegedly left his home in Northport to go to the Carlton
The
Reserve.
day before he was named the person of interest in her
Yeah.
disappearance.
Right, the day before.
Yep.
Now let's take this question. We got a lot of questions and comments here. Another kind one here. I just want to follow up here with this one. Tiffany Klein, hashtag HeyJB. The positive co-parenting, these 4-parent show, is absolutely astounding and inspiring.
And from you
we
saw
can
the other woman who's in the press conference, that is Tara Petito, her stepmom,
Mhm.
and she was on the Zoom interview with me 2 weeks ago, and she's always felt like Gabby's second mother. And you heard Joseph Petito say after Jim Schmidt spoke on Sunday that they're both her fathers, both her parents,
Yeah.
and that she was so loved and adored by these 2 sets of parents who helped raise her. And now just they're trying to turn this unimaginable heartbreak into something positive by launching this Gabby Pettito Foundation.
This question has been repeated so many times that I want to bring it up here, and I'll let all of us kind of chime in here, especially you two, because I've chimed in on this exact question previously, but it's being asked so many times here. Let's talk about for a moment here, and I'm speaking to the audience that has now been watching me for over the last couple of weeks. Let's just and this will all make sense. The strength that Gabby Pettito's family showed in stepping up to the podium here and speaking, all the grief, all the unbelievable heartache, all of this pain that they are feeling, and they still were able to come forward, step up to the microphone, and it wasn't about them as much as it was bringing awareness to other missing persons, commending the FBI, even though some online have been extraordinarily critical of the FBI and wanting more results from the FBI. The amount of grace and strength and courage that they showed here is noteworthy, especially according to our commenters now, especially when you compare it to what Brian Laundrie's parents are doing. And I want to take this comment here from our audience here. Georgia Dollar, hashtag HJB, hashtag Hey Justin, hashtag Hey Masa. Why don't the parents of Brian Laundrie's just give an interview on television like other parents have? Unless they're hiding things and lying, then people will leave them alone. The people just want answers. And Justin, first and foremost here, again, the Brian Laundrie's parents have not been charged here with any crime. Of course, people are speculating. There's going to be endless speculation, but it's our job here and it's our responsibility here to remind people of the facts of the case here. And there was, I'm going to ask you to bring up the statement. One of the two of you, the statement from Stephen Bertolino.
Right here, JB, right
Yep.
on cue.
This is now, so one more second. This is Stephen Bertolino's statement yesterday. That's the Brian Laundrie family attorney releasing this.
And they've really been speaking through Mr. Bertolino from the get-go on this. We know when the Northport Police Department showed up on the night of September 11th, they said, hey, here's our attorney's card. So this is what Stephen Bertolino sent us yesterday, because you know there's continued protests outside the home there in Northport. So he said, quote, again, Stephen Bertolino says, quote, Chris and Roberta Laundrie do not know where Brian is. They are concerned about Brian and hope the FBI can locate him. The speculation by the public and some in the press that parents assisted Brian in leaving the family home or in avoiding arrest on a warrant that was issued after Brian had already been missing for several days is just wrong. So again, that is from their family attorney, who has really been the only method of communication from the parents as they've come under so much scrutiny as people across the country want to know where their son is. And more importantly, what does he know about what happened to Gabby?
And I want to bring in Masa here for a second. Masa, you're a parent. So
I'm
there's
also an attorney.
What's that now?
I said I'm also an attorney.
You're a parent. You are a former prosecutor in New York. I've been wanting to ask you this question all week here. There's been a lot of people pointing out that Brian Laundrie's parents, Chris and Roberta Laundrie, they're in their homes, and a lot of parents are out there saying, if it was me and if it was my child that was out there in the wilderness or missing in the subject of a missing persons alert, and if they were really concerned and worried and freaking out about their child's safety, wouldn't they be coming up to the podium to have a press conference like this saying, please help us find our son? Wouldn't they be more active with the FBI? This is some of the questions that we're getting now on social media as to, again, Brian Laundrie's parents, and again, it's their American right, it's their constitutional right to remain silent, but they're staying silent as their son is the subject of the most talked about missing persons case in the world right now.
Well, I presume I'm just going to take kind of the other side of this, since you brought up one viewpoint. I assume that they have, talked with the FBI. They said, whether you believe them or not, they have said this is the last place we saw him, and at this point, I think everybody is looking for Brian Laundrie. So I'm not sure, how much it would help the effort if they got out there and said, help us find Brian Laundrie at this point, especially since a lot of people assume that Brian is the one that did something bad since he's the sole person of interest in this investigation. And this just really reminds me of everything that people were saying when Brian Laundrie refused to cooperate, when Brian Laundrie refused to talk. As much as it frustrated law enforcement, as much as it made so many people on the public say, well, that's it right there, he's guilty. As, a straight up journalist and also as an attorney, I have to just respect that, he has that right under the Constitution to not incriminate himself. And that is the right that he's exercising. And I think his parents also, have that right to not speak to anyone. And that is what they're choosing to do right now. And I don't know if the parents went out and said, help us find Brian, we're so sad, how much that would actually, make people say, oh, let's go find Brian. I feel bad for him now. So
Any thoughts there, Justin?
Again, I think it's part of the reason this family is under so much scrutiny is they haven't come out and said anything if they're concerned. But again, they'd be pampered with questions. They'd get, all the questions they don't want to answer. And understandably, they're remaining silent, and they will continue to put out statements through their attorney as they've done from the get-go.
Here's where they could get in trouble. They could get in trouble if they gave false information to law enforcement. That would be like hindering the investigation. They would get in trouble if they were like tampering with witnesses. But at this point, just choosing not to go out there and have interviews with, the press, that is completely their right.
Let's take some more questions and comments here via social media. But again, #KJB, #KJustin, #KMasa, and standing by on whether or not we're going to get Josh Benson here in the stream. And Josh is walking by. Are you available in the next few minutes? Okay, so I know that Masa does have to get going here shortly in the next.
I'm good until 2:30.
Okay, you're good until 2:30. All right, so we'll make lemonade, as they say. We'll try to get as many voices in here as possible.
You mentioned
yes, Justin.
Josh. Josh sent an email to the newsroom, I know, about the report we corrected earlier. So this is what Josh sent us a few minutes ago. Josh says he called the park and inquired about the records. So I'm at Fort DeSoto Park with this. You're looking on your screen right there. Josh writes, they've been told to refer all requests regarding any records, guests, or inquiries regarding Brian Laundrie to the Denver FBI field office. So thank you to our friend and anchor.
Yeah.
And look, and that's the thing. Once Northport turned this over to the FBI, I've sent them emails, and I asked specifically to the FBI, can you say with certainty the video of the white van in the park helped lead you to the body? And I got we're not going to answer that question. It was a simple yes and no question. One thing that our colleague Walt Buteau has pointed out, JB, is just how in this social media age, we're literally getting our updates, the arrest warrants, the developments from the FBI's Twitter page. That is just
me to the Twitter page.
Every time I ask questions, fascinating to all of us who are in the business, decade or more, dealing with federal law enforcement. That is where we are these days. So, but again, thank you to our friend Josh Benson for having reached out. They're saying any questions about Fort DeSoto Park, you're looking on your screen there. We'll have to go through the FBI. We know the FBI can be pretty tight-lipped about things.
Always.
But they did want to get out that arrest warrant last week. With the bank fraud and the accessing the $1,000. So that made him now a wanted fugitive for his activity
used the
after
Capital One card and it was debit of someone. And they say Gabby, but
they
someone.
asked reporter asked the attorney whether it was her card, and he would not comment on that. That is unconfirmed, but we know it's activity after the homicide.
Someone else's
Gabby
card.
Pettito.
Someone else's card. I can't help but wonder what J. Edgar Hoover would have thought about the FBI
using
and one
Twitter,
of those using Twitter. That's an interesting thought here. Tiffany's comment's been up here on screen. Want to acknowledge it? #KJB, #KJustin, #KMasa. So why don't the Laundries make it right and come out with their own press conference? There's a lot of comments out there like this one, like Tiffany's here, and let me just chime in here. And Masa is a former prosecutor. It's great to have her insight here on this as well. The Laundrie parents right now are so radioactive as far as them coming forward that if anything that they were to say, even as sincere and genuine and well-intentioned as it might be, they're just going to get prodded nonstop here. And so I would imagine that, of course, that the Laundrie parents are following the advice of their attorney, Stephen Berlino, in right now not holding a press conference similar to what you just saw from Gabby Pettito's
And
family.
the one day we know it was last Tuesday, I believe he had planned a press conference, Mr. Berlino.
He did.
And then canceled it. And I remember I said at the time was probably the right thing to do from a PR perspective, because that was the day, sadly, we learned her remains were confirmed to be her, and they ruled it a homicide. So that was the only time in the 2+ weeks of covering this that their family attorney said he was going to come, take questions, do a press conference, and that was canceled. And sadly, that was the same day we learned that this is now a homicide investigation.
Let's take some more here. Let's get to, I want to speak to this comment here from Amanda Burns, #HeyJB. Why did the lawyer, Robert B. Stafford, walk away during questions? I feel uneasy about that. He should have been there to protect them and as a buffer. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. They didn't have to take questions. I thought it was so strong of them to take questions. So many times with a press conference of this magnitude, you're gonna have a family or an attorney come forward. They're gonna read off of a piece of paper, and then they're gonna not take any questions, and then they walk away. Their question and answer portion was longer than their initial statement, which I think speaks to the character of this family, right?
I think they're truly grateful for the outpouring of love and support. I mean, you heard that over and over again, just how much. You know, I know you've been sharing the beautiful bracelets, JB, people are doing it in memory of Gabby. And I just think they really going through this unimaginable pain. There's JB showing his bracelet, that they are thankful that the community coming behind them is helping them get through this. I think that really came across during this news conference. Again, back to the goal of this foundation is to make sure other families don't feel alone if they have to go through this, something awful and similar to what they've gone through these past few weeks.
A lot of questions and comments coming in here. Let's continue to take more. Danielle Kelly. This is I haven't really taken this sort of question or comment yet, but we'll take it from Danielle. #HeyJB, #HeyJustin, #HeyMassa. Again, use any of these hashtags and we can animate your comment on screen. Is anyone else getting annoyed with all the crazy conspiracy theories on social media, namely TikTok? It's really sad what these people are saying with absolutely no basis. Please allow me to go first here on this one, and then I'll allow Massa and Justin to chime in here as far as the crazy conspiracy theories and TikTok. Danielle, I share your frustration. There's just a lot of people out there that are looking to capitalize on a tragedy, and that's really terrible to see somebody trying to make some baseless accusation here. We're trying to document what's going on here as far as the facts of the case and trying to have a conversation with you here live on WFLA now, but there are people out there that are trying to fabricate reality, fabricate facts, fabricate the truth, and that's just terrible. It's just terrible. But you can't really come down too hard on TikTok because there are so many really well-intentioned, good people out there on TikTok trying to do the right thing and trying to spread accurate information rather than misinformation. So while there might be a lot of garbage out there, a lot of trash out there that you have to sift through, it's really unfortunate. There is some really good-willed, well-intentioned social media activity out there on TikTok, on Reddit, on YouTube, on all the various social media platforms. And while it is sad to see all the crazy conspiracy theories come about, we're here in the Massa and Justin and I, we're all going to be shaking our heads here. We're kind of used to the crazy conspiracy theories. I mean, we're
all on Facebook.
We're all on Facebook. Yeah. The conspiracy theories are kind of, and you kind of going through that mess. That's kind of part of the job now when you're a journalist in 2021. So anybody else want to chime in here on this comment?
We appreciate all you guys watching for trusting us, because I'm sitting next to two great colleagues here, been on this from the beginning, and you guys, myself, we all try to vet through the nonsense and try to get the facts out there. For example, I referenced earlier about the timeline on the 27th. There was a girl on Instagram who said, we saw them get in a fight at that restaurant. I didn't feel comfortable reporting that, guys, until Mary Piglets, the restaurant, came out and said, yes, Pettito and Brian Laundrie were at our restaurant. So it goes back to vetting, having trusted journalists like these colleagues I'm sitting next to, that we will continue to let the facts lead us where we go. We will vet things out, and Massa wants to add to that.
Yeah, I just want to say that, talking about the impact of these conspiracy theories, less, but also just of all the tips of, oh, I saw Gabby here, I saw Brian here. Just this morning, I was reading a couple articles about people saying that they saw Brian on this day at this state and so forth. And I think just the impact that has, it has been so wildly helpful to law enforcement in one way, but every single time that a tip like this goes out, they do have to look at it. They do have to investigate it. So it would certainly be great if people weren't giving out, information that's not true, but a lot of people thinking that they saw Brian Laundrie here or there, a lot of people spotting the couple, and everyone coming forward. We hope most of them have good intentions, but certainly some people are going to be looking for their 15 minutes. But tips can go
15
into
TikTok nowadays, Masa, it's 15 seconds.
Yeah,
And I mean,
15
it's
seconds.
so minute
Yeah.
as far as fame goes, or what I'm getting at. The human attention span is shrinking by the hour as far as TikTok and social media platforms. I mean, I say that, and people have been watching us now for I get analytics here. People watch us for an average of about 10 minutes, and then they move on. That's more than TikTok, which is beneficial to us as far as our viewership is concerned. But yeah, to all the people out there that are trying to capitalize on this. It's just you're getting in the way of some really incredible people out there that are trying to do the right thing. I'll let you guys take this one. Shirley Harris, and we really don't know the answer to this question. #KJB, is the FBI going to search the campground? And let's show the campground again here from Eagle 8HC. Well, here's Dog the Bounty Hunter, who again has stirred the pot. Can I say stirred the pot on social media with some of what he has been able to find out and what his team has been able to find out here over the last 24 hours as far as the Fort DeSoto campground here. This is now information that's coming out and being confirmed here. Who would like to take this one first?
I will. So I think just because we have just found out about the Laundrie family allegedly being at Fort DeSoto, again, we are working to get those records of the family signing in and having their reservation confirmed. Just because it's the first that we're hearing about it does not mean that the FBI has not known about it, has not looked into it, has not already searched the campsite there. So I just wouldn't underestimate the FBI. Dog the Bounty Hunter likes the microphone more than the FBI does in this type of situation.
And I'll add in, when I spoke to Northport PD, when I first talked to Josh Taylor about this case, he talked about trying to get phone records. He also mentioned, trying to access bank records. We know the only crime so far that Brian Laundrie is accused of is a financial crime.
Right.
He said, look, it takes time to access those bank records. So as for this report of them being at the campsite, I go back to what is a key piece of evidence now. License plate readers and records like that. So you'd have to imagine the FBI is digging into that with the help of their local partners here. So again, we are working to verify these reports that the Dog the Bounty Hunter has put out there. But as Masa said, do not underestimate the FBI. And the family made it clear at this press conference they have full confidence in federal law enforcement to get justice for their daughter.
And if I can just add one quick thing, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office saying to us today, quote, "We are not conducting an investigation at Fort DeSoto. We are unaware of any confirmed sightings of Brian. We will continue to refer you to the Northport PD." They should mean the FBI for any further questions.
1-800 call FBI tips.
I'm going to put you guys on the spot here. Josh Benson standing by to sit down here with us and carry the conversation forward. Who would like to stay and who would like to move on here in the news?
Deadline than me, Masa. But
I'm good staying, until 2:30.
Josh's info. I guess I'm being.
All right, so Justin, you want to hop back on with us at 2:30? I mean, if we're still streaming,
yes.
That way
I'll be around, JB.
All right, Justin, thanks a lot. Hey, Justin, maybe if you find out something.
I'll call Fort DeSoto. We'll try.
All right, everybody. JB Buno, Masa Saidi. Masa's here with us till 2:30.
Yeah.
That's great. Masa, thanks so much for spending some time here with us again. Our journalists here.
For you.
Let me just explain. Thank you, Masa. Let me just explain how this works. Our journalists have responsibilities to our broadcast product, to WFLA News Channel 8, and filing reports, television reports. And so they can sit down here with us for a period of time and they can dedicate some time to this. But the more time that they sit down here, the less time that they have for their other responsibilities in the newsroom. So it's an active conversation here as far as getting them involved and being able to sit down with them. And it's great to have folks like Masa join us here. Masa, as I bring Josh here into the conversation, what else would you like to point out here at this hour?
I can tell you about, what I'm going to be working on for our news tonight at 6. The Moab City Police Chief taking a leave of absence. We don't know how long this is going to be, but we have confirmed that he's taking a leave of absence under the Family Leave Act. The department has really gotten a lot of bad press, to say the least, for the handling of the incident that happened in Moab, Utah on August 12th. That's when a 911 caller claimed to see Brian Laundrie slapping, hitting Gabby Pettito. Law enforcement found their vehicle, pulled them over. Ultimately, you saw police and body cam video more than an hour long, tried to get to the bottom of it, but ultimately they determined that Gabby Pettito was the aggressor in that case. Nobody was arrested. Nobody was cited. And, a lot of people saying if that case had been handled differently, maybe we wouldn't be where we are right now. We know the city of Moab has launched an investigation into whether the police department violated any of their policies and procedures. But the news that broke last night, what I'm going to be focusing in on today at 6 p.m. is the fact that the police chief has now resigned. JB.
All right, Masa Saidi here with us with the latest, and she'll have the latest tonight on WFLA News Channel 8. Let's bring in Josh Benson, everybody, from, of course, your local friendly television news station,
Masa,
WFLA News Channel 8.
But I don't mind it. I don't know. I kind of like it though. Yeah, too much talking. I'm right next to Josh, so he just loves to hear.
I hear Masa talk all day
time.
long.
You're so lucky.
Josh, we're going to bring you right in here to talk about this character here, and quite literally a character as far as reality TV goes. What are we learning this hour about Dog the Bounty Hunter and about the search or the lack thereof, perhaps, at Fort DeSoto in Pinellas County, Florida?
So the latest right now is I just got off the phone with the office at Fort DeSoto, and I talked to a representative who's managing the office, and she says, I was asking for records. Obviously, one of the records of when people went there. There's tipster claims that the family was there on 2 separate occasions in September. And now we're starting to see on social from different media outlets the logs of these visits by Roberta Laundrie. Smith lists her name specifically, but now everything is being directed to the FBI. So I'm trying to get some information or get the proof that they were there as quickly as possible. We might have to take some additional steps to do that. So we'll probably need our reporters to do some of that and get the records that we can try to access on the fly. But that's what's happening right now. So if I look at it from a search perspective, we talked about the reserve. Right now is quiet. Eagle 8 just flew over it not too long ago, and it's very quiet out there.
As we're looking at here, and again, folks joining us here, you can use hashtag #HeyJosh now, hashtag #HeyJosh, hashtag #HeyJB, hashtag #HeyMasa. Let's get some more questions going in here in the YouTube Live, Facebook Live conversation, or comment section, excuse me. But Josh, not to interrupt, you can continue.
No, it's all right.
Masa, what do you think about what's unfolding here over the last 36 hours as far as Dog the Bounty Hunter goes? And it's just created a massive sort of intrigue online. This is what reality TV does, right? I mean, it's their jobs to strike up intrigue here, and it seems to be working on places like Twitter.
Yeah, I think it's intriguing, and by the reports that Josh just referenced, what Dog the Bounty Hunter is saying seems to be getting checked out by other media outlets. Again, WFLA is working to confirm and get those records. But what he was saying last night to other reporters and other news outlets was that the family went there twice to Fort DeSoto, which is about 75 miles away from their home, from September 1st to September 3rd, again from September 6th to September 8th. And Dog the Bounty Hunter claims that on September 8th, Brian Laundrie stayed behind and just the parents went back. But certainly he came back to Northport, Florida on September 1st. This new information that appears to be getting checked out, that the family went to this campsite about 75 miles away on the day that he returned. It's intriguing, to say the least.
It's intriguing. And I think it's important to remember too, that is a big bit that's hard to prove. If 3 went in and 2 left. Dog the Bounty Hunter had been saying that. That came from the tipster. Until we have evidence that's either in video or pictures showing that 2 drivers or 2 passengers were in the vehicle. One could have been in the back of the camper. So there's so many things that could prove that false. But in terms of what he brought out earlier is license plate records, reservations made by the family, video, any of that stuff we can prove. We can try to prove, and we should be trying to prove that right now. So if we can get any access to that video to show, hey, there they are. Here's the campground they stayed in. There's 2 different campgrounds that specifically the tipster said they stayed in. That is stuff we can actually report and move forward with. Say, hey, this is a major part of the timeline now. 2 separate occasions in the beginning of September. This family went camping, and why is the bigger question.
We got some questions and comments coming in here. Again, JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now, engaging a new digital audience. We always have to repeat this for our digital audience because people come and they go. It's a big revolving door. I think of like a building in Times Square with a big, massive revolving door, like a department store. People come in, people leave. That's just what we do here on WFLA Now. So if you've joined us in the last several minutes, hello. Josh Benson, Masa Saidi, JB Buno here with you live. You can use hashtag Hey Josh, hashtag Hey Masa, hashtag Hey JB on YouTube or Twitter or on Facebook, and we'll bring in your comments and we'll animate them here on screen. And we've had some great ones come in here in the last several minutes here. And I want to give a shout out to one of the commenters here. This is a really intriguing question. And I spoke about this last night with my wife because let me just bring up the comment here. It's from Brandy Riley. Cute cat in Brandy's profile picture there. Hashtag KJB. Does dog, from cat to dog, does dog have less red tape to jump through to investigate because he isn't law enforcement? Is there, Josh, is there less because he's not listen, this is a guy who does reality TV, right? And who does television shows. Right. So does he have less red tape? But he also does, you could say he doesn't have as much red tape, but at the same time, you could say he doesn't have the immense resources that the FBI has.
And a lot less power. I mean, he's like you and I. I mean, he can't go down to the Carlton Reserve, as far as I know, and start searching for Brian Laundrie. That's closed off to the public, and I don't know, unless there's an exception made with law enforcement, to offer up his resources and come up with a deal that would allow him to help them, but we haven't heard of that. He's going to be out on his own and digging into his own. What he does have that you and I don't have, or Masa has at this point, well, actually, we do. We have a news station here that can bring in tips, but he has a well-built machine that is available for tips for people to call in. And I brought this point up yesterday. It's an effective maneuver because you take a system like Crime Stoppers, or you take a nonprofit that runs a missing person case that has a team, for instance, they can accept anonymous tips. And there's a lot of people out there who don't want to go to the police or the FBI. They may know something, but fear they're implicated, or fear there's a problem, or fear it could be tied back to them. And some people just don't want to be bothered. They may know something and say, I don't want to get involved. That's kind of the mentality in Minnesota where I grew up. It's like, I see it, but I don't really want to be a part of it because, I don't want to shake any fence. So, you know what I mean? No, so that's an outlet for them to say, here you go. Here's the tip I have. Now you take it and run with it.
So there are people out there, and Masa, I want to get your perspective on this too. But so what you're saying, Josh, is that there are people out there that might have had some interesting information that have just been kind of timid as far as getting involved, and then all of a sudden, Dog the Bounty Hunter is on the case. And it's like, oh,
right
now I'm going to come forward with that information. I'll call Dog the Bounty Hunter. I trust him. Is that kind of what you're getting at there?
Absolutely. And then they can just get it to him. And what Dog the Bounty Hunter will do is then turn it over to law enforcement, just like he did yesterday. When I was in touch with the team, they said, we're sitting by, we're at Fort DeSoto. We have this tipster. We have the information. Now we're waiting for law enforcement to show up. And eventually one single deputy from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office showed up, and it was dark, and they just decided that's it for the night. We'll pick this up tomorrow. And as you can see, nothing is happening out there today, but we are seeing reports that Dog brought up that seem to appear valid, in that the records are indicating, and we haven't proven this independently, but records are indicating Roberta Laundrie was there on at least one occasion.
And I was on a call this morning about this case, and there was an FBI agent, a retired FBI agent, who brought up exactly the point that Josh brought up, that a lot of times people are much more comfortable giving a tip to America's Most Wanted or Dog the Bounty Hunter because no one wants to be a federal witness. But if I could also weigh in, law enforcement here definitely has more red tape than Dog the Bounty Hunter, because you've got to remember the ultimate goal here is to have a case that is legal, to have a case that is solid. If you don't go about obtaining evidence in a legal way, if you don't get a search warrant, eventually whatever evidence you get, you can't use in the case. That's going to be thrown out. So
Right. Good point.
yeah, so they have to follow the law. So it doesn't, it might be easier for Dog the Bounty Hunter, for example, than law enforcement.
And he's not
for
the one
multiple.
prosecuting the case in the
Right,
end anyway. So
exactly.
Here's a great comment. I love our WFLA Now commenters. They're phenomenal, and we really, all of us, from Josh and Masa and Justin and myself, we just really thank you for asking these questions and making these comments and these observations. It helps us carry the conversation forward here. Brandy, thank you for your great comment. We're going to bring up this one here, but Kimberly makes a great point. Kimberly Hogan, hashtag HJB, hashtag HJosh. People, if they are in legal trouble themselves, are more inclined to talk to Dog than to law enforcement. So if you are somebody that doesn't want to necessarily
Are you
be
assuming the tipsters are criminals? I'm
no,
sorry.
but you know what though? There are people out there, Masa, that have
put that in perspective. I mean, let's say there's a big network of crime, right? And let's say they're trying to find the crime boss. Okay, maybe there's somebody on the outside who has some information.
Yep, I know where you're going with this.
To the police, they're going to get questioned. Oh, boom, you have a warrant for your arrest, or boom, you were part of this. You're going to jail too, buddy. But if this person really wants the crime boss to go down, he could float a tip over to a guy like Dog the Bounty Hunter that could make its way through, and then you're protected in so many forms.
Hey, listen, Masa, criminals can help too. I mean, they can, and you might be wanted for a very, very minor misdemeanor charge and just not want to be on the radar of law enforcement, and you'd feel more comfortable. Does anybody care at this point whether or not the information comes to somebody who might be wanted for a misdemeanor or something like that versus somebody who's an outstanding citizen who called 1-800-CALL-FBI? I'm asking this openly to our audience here. Does it matter to you whether that massive tip that could lead to Brian Laundrie's whereabouts comes from a call that goes into Dog the Bounty Hunter, a call that goes into John Walsh, or a call that goes into the FBI? Does it really matter to you all? I mean, we're all on the same team here, right? I mean, so I'll ask that to our commenters here, but it's an interesting conversation here, an interesting point here from Kimberly. A great Masa. Let's come right back to you and your experience as of course as an attorney. Dan Pat here, hashtag Hey Masa. Can't they bring in Brian's parents in front of a grand jury to make them speak or to hold them in contempt?
They can subpoena to have Brian's parents appear, but then the parents can exercise their right to silence once they arrive.
So they don't have to speak.
No.
Right.
You have a right to not self-incriminate.
And do you think that that's why perhaps they haven't brought in Brian Laundrie's parents, because they believe they're just going to invoke their constitutional right to remain silent?
No, I think that right now they're slowly working the case. And a lot of times when you have a suspect, it's someone that is, a criminal. They have drug issues. They might have done a break-in in the past. But with Brian Laundrie, they didn't have that. So the FBI, they took their time. They looked at all the records, and then they found out, oh, we can get him on this. He was using this Capital One bank card, and we can get him on this. So I think they're just slowly putting their case together. So I think that's why I don't think they're not moving forward, because they think that the parents are going to exercise their right to remain silent.
Josh, check out this comment here from Tammy Calvert, hashtag HJB. Dog has connections. I believe he's doing this out of the kindness of his heart. What do you make of that?
First of all, and what I've learned about Dog in the last 24 hours is
you've been in touch with his team.
I'm talking to his wife actually too right now. Is that he seems to be a pretty genuine guy. He's got this rough and gruff demeanor to him, but even the team themselves say he's a teddy bear. He wants the best for these families. And I look at it at perspective is like, what's your track record look like? Sure, he's got a show, and sure he's flashy and he does a lot of things and he shows up at scenes, but does he help families? That's what I come back to that. And he has a pretty decent record on helping cases move along. Has it been a part of a show? Sure. And has it helped cases though? I think it has. And even the family today, you heard in the news conference, that question was asked of Joseph Pettito and the rest of the family today for Gabby's news conference. What do you think of John Walsh and people like Dog the Bounty Hunter? He's like, we can use the help from everybody. Even the attorney said that we can use the help from anybody. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. It's exposure, and it's ultimately we want to find justice, and that family deserves it.
Just reported to the FBI, the attorney said.
Sure.
A lot of comments. When I asked the comment here, or question a moment ago, I asked our audience here, does it matter to you where this tip comes from? If it's the tip, the one we've been waiting for, does it matter that that call is made to Dog the Bounty Hunter, John Walsh, the FBI, or Northport Police? Does it matter? And as you would imagine, Carrie Snyder here, #AJB. It doesn't matter as long as Brian is found and that there is justice for Gabby. Thank you, Carrie, for your comment. Tammy Forston, #AJB. I don't care, and throws up the. I like to do this. This is the shrug, kind of hands up emoji. You know, where the tip comes from, as long as they get him. Ryan Hoke, #AJB, #Josh. We just want this case solved and justice for Gabby. And one more here, Jamie Lynn Diaz here, #AJB. I don't think it matters who calls. It matters that he is brought, and I believe what she meant, brought in. So I think we all agree, right? I mean, we're all on the same team here, Josh, Mansa. I mean, Dog League Bounty Hunter clearly, generating a lot of interest online, and there have been people that have watched this show for many, many years and have confidence in him that if, as the saying goes, if he's on the scent, that there's going to be momentum towards justice. And that's, I said this yesterday, people asking me, I've gotten countless messages to my WFLA JB Instagram, to my WFLA JB Facebook. Josh, I'm sure it's been the same for you. What do you think of Dog being on the case? And I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again. Welcome to the case. I say to Dog, the Bounty Hunter, thank you. And anything that you can do to help, I would just ask, of course, and he knows this. He's not going to listen to me. He's just going to listen to, of course, the principle here of the situation, and that just anything that you uncover, share with the authorities so that they can pursue it with all the means and resources that they have available to them. So that's what I would say here. Again, Josh Benson, Masa Saidi, JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. Use any of the hashtags here across your screen here. We can't go over the entire timeline here. That's more something for an article. But Susan Eagle, that's a great name for Eagle. We love Eagle. Eagle 8HD. #AJB, #Josh. Can you go over the laundry timeline of when they say they saw him last compared to when they were at Fort DeSoto? So the dates now, Josh, are September 6th, 7th, 8th, as we understand it. That's really what
1st through the 3rd and 6th through the 8th. And I believe the 14th is in there. Did they report him missing on the 14th?
14th is when the family said they last saw him. They didn't report him until the 17th.
Days later, right? Yep.
So these dates now, they fall in line here, and this all adds up, right? Or does it add up in a way that we have learned something here tangible as far as this now addition to the timeline, Masa and Josh?
Sure. I was just watching Justin Shecker. He's working on something, and he got something. So.
Oh, okay. So he's
good job, Justin.
Justin's working the phones. All right. Yeah, you got to hop.
You'll be making wild motions over there. Newsrooms are all open, so you can see everybody and you can see what everybody's doing. So it's funny to watch.
We're right here in the newsroom.
Sorry to interrupt that. The timeline. One point I was going to make too is there's a lot of focus now on were they there at the campground those 2 dates, the 1st through the 3rd and the 6th through the 8th, and people are like, well, what I find most interesting is right now we haven't confirmed the fact that they've been there both dates, but if they were, why would they have gone twice? A lot of people are talking about why would they go and then come back and then go again.
Mm-hmm.
That's super suspicious, in my opinion. But keep in mind, too, if Brian Laundrie came back and had a story for them and told his parents, well, yeah, we had a fight. She decided to stay out there. She's going to rent a car and drive home when she's ready, or something along those lines. That could have happened. That could have happened that they didn't know exactly what happened out there. We don't know that, obviously, but maybe that is a reason for them to be out at a campground.
And
now these are just talking through like what could have happened, and it's speculation. But a lot of people are wondering, well, why would they go there twice, or why would they go there at all?
Let's not forget the Guthries here.
Right.
So the Guthries, right? They say that the Guthries, when they spoke to Fox News in that interview on national television, and they said, we saw them leave for a 3-day camping trip with the camper, and it was about a week to a week and a half after Brian returned home. And we know that Brian returned home with the van on September 1st, right? So is the 3 days here, as far as going to Fort DeSoto, match the 3 days from the camping trip from the Guthries.
Well, did they give a date? This is my point of
The Guthries
confusion,
never
that
gave us a date.
They
The-
never gave
right.
the date. Okay, so if
That's why
they
it's always
said about a
cloudy.
week, then it seems like they would have caught them on the second trip.
But-
It was 6th to the 8th. It sounds like, because if they got back on the 1st and the first trip was September 1st to September 3rd, it sounds like the neighbors across the street had seen them depart for that second alleged outing.
And that is Labor Day weekend. So now people, you know, was the weekend, or excuse me, was the camping trip that the Guthries were talking about. And again, that's all based on hearsay from neighbors and their observations. That's not been confirmed by the authorities. But this is, again, neighbors giving some open testimony here as far as the Laundrie's whereabouts. They said it was a week to a week and a half after Brian Laundrie left. Or excuse me, Brian Laundrie and his parents left for that 3-day camping trip. They said, and that would be, so Labor Day was Monday, September 6th, Josh. And they're saying now that it would be 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8 is when they were at that campground in Fort DeSoto. So that would be a Monday, a Tuesday, and a Wednesday. But the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of Labor Day weekend for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if those two, we can't. There's no way for us to say for certain whether or not they're connected. But the 3-day camping trip that the Guthries noted, and now we're learning about this 3 days now that they were, you know, again, the mother checking in to Fort DeSoto, according to media reports here. There could be something. There could be something
Right.
there. We can't say for certain that there's something there. That's
to
All right,
that
guys.
group said that there was 2 occasions,
It seems
and
to
they
me
spotted
like
them,
that
they
they're
visually
just
saw them
repeating
there,
some of the
and they
same
even
information
marked off the-
over and over again. So I thought that we would just stop the live and talk. What do y'all think? Just talk about what we've heard so far this morning. I would like to know, has anybody saw the receipts? Has anybody saw anybody with a screenshot of those receipts that they said are going around? I've Googled it. I've searched on Twitter, and I can't find them. If anybody sees those receipts, please email them to me. Allows a formal request to review, find out if an individual who contact with children has any convictions for sexual or child abuse. You know, Larry, that's one thing I have to say that we're very careful about with my church. I say my church, the church that I attend. We don't allow anyone to work with the youth until they have been a member of our church for 1 year, and then they have to pass a very extensive background check, and they have to meet with the deacons and the pastor, as well as our youth committee, and be approved by all 3 different committees. See, Ginger and Mo, that's what I'm wondering too. If he was cited at 10:30 a.m., did he go home and then they loaded up and they left for a camping trip then? That's weird to me. Honestly, this today left me with more questions. I don't know how everyone else feels, but it left me with more questions. Mo, I think they all three had loaded up the same day that he got home and headed out. First of all, if your daughter or son came home from they had been gone at this point 2 months or 2 months into from a trip with their significant other, and they came home without said significant other, would you not be curious? Daffodils, JB said that they have one of the reporters or one of the news stations has confirmed that the toll booth read his tag at 10:30 a.m. Pieces are starting to fall into place, guys. Pieces are starting to fall into place like crazy. Mo, you talked about the boat. Let me see if I can find what I had pulled up last night again. Well, Gabby Pettito Foundation. Okay, hold on just a second, guys. Let me see here. If anyone knows how to find or get access to those tickets of where the mom checked into Fort DeSoto campground, please email me. Please. Let's do this together, guys. Let's do this together. Mo, you were talking about the daffodils. I did hear that they have yeah, they still have toll booths in parts of Florida. Christine, I have a lot of questions too. Daffodils, I did hear that the family does have access to boats. What size boats, what types of boats, I don't know. But I did hear that they have access to boats. Okay. Mo was talking about the boats earlier. Let me show y'all something, okay? This is a map of the campground right here, okay? This is a map of Fort DeSoto campground where they would have stayed at. See down here, you'll see the office. Right here, you'll see the office. It's divided up into two areas. Area 2's for all types of camping and is pet friendly. Area 1 is for tents, vans, pop-ups, and is absolutely no pets. Now, last night's information told us the 1st through the 3rd, the laundries stayed at unit number 1, which is right here. Okay. Now, the 6th through the 8th, they're saying that they stayed at unit number 15, which is right here. Look what's right here, guys. Look what's right there. Boat canal. Or excuse me, boat channel. In Tennessee, sometimes we call them canals. but boat channels. Boat channel, guys, right there. But if they say Unit 1 on the 1st to the 3rd, Unit 15 on the 6th through the 8th. There are people that are saying that 3 people went in on the 6th for their camping trip for that camping trip, only 2 people came out. So I don't know much what to think about it, guys. See, the uncle owns a boatyard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah, Ginger. I guarantee you law enforcement knows some new things. Mm-hmm. Oh, Uncle sells yachts, does he? Wow. That's mighty convenient. I don't quite know what to say anymore, guys. I really don't. I don't know what to say anymore. The more you learn, the more you don't think you want to know. JOT did a YouTube video on family's business. Oh, daffodils, trust me. I've got all kinds of notes made. I literally have to sit down at some point tonight and start putting notes together because I've got them written on sticky notes. I've got them written in a one subject notebook. I've got them written. I've got to sit down sometime tonight and just start putting all of my notes together in one place. Because somebody tells me something or I read something online, I just jot it down wherever I'm at in the house. I'm not like MRB and yell for Jimmy to bring me my notebook. I would love to see those receipts. Man, would I love to see those receipts. Yeah. My Jimmy would bring me my notebook if I asked him to, but I'm not screaming his name to come bring me a notebook when I've got a piece of paper in the kitchen or wherever I'm at and I can just jot it down there and put it with the rest of my notes. Not doing it. So, guys, let's just see what we can find. Put something else up here real quick. Sorry, guys. I was trying to type something into Google. Guys, y'all do realize this about Fort DeSoto? And I know we talked about this last night. Y'all do realize this, okay? Ginger, that's funny. But y'all do realize this, right? Fort DeSoto is a place that the family had been known to visit before. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities. Jewels of thought. Okay. Thank you for telling. I'm sorry. Y'all, my mind has just been. Larry, I honestly think that they know the cause of death. They're probably waiting on some like toxicology things to come back and all of that to make sure that they don't need to test anything else on her body. Guys, think about it like this, okay? Had you rather them hold her body until they're absolutely sure they've gotten everything that they need, or have to exhume her body to test for something else? If Brian was a danger, but they'd said that by now. I do believe if Brian was a danger to the public, that they would have said it. But having said that, did I not read somewhere that the police said do not approach him? That's right, Ginger. They need to confirm the toxicology reports. And guys, toxicology reports take a while to come back. It's not like an overnight thing like you would think for. Yes, they're going to get all their ducks in a row. All of them in a row. Because with all due respect, there's already been enough messed up beforehand. And the last thing they want to do is mess this up. Oh, it's okay, Irvin. Yes, remember that, guys, about Shanann Watts? They did not release her autopsy report nor toxicology or any of that until Chris Watts pled guilty. If anyone can get their hands on the copies, screenshot of that, of those receipts, I'd greatly appreciate it. That's true, Larry. I mean, it's been exposed to the elements for 20 plus days. It's going to be hard. Ginger, Shanann's autopsy report was nuts. It really was. Would the family know what though, Daffodils? The cause of death? I'm sure the family knows a lot more about what happened to her than has been released to the public. You got to remember, her bonus father works for the funeral home that handled her funeral arrangements. Tia, they have not released her body yet. Her body is still in possession of Wyoming. The family said it this morning that they do not have their daughter back yet. Yeah, they can hold a body for as long as they need to. As long as they have a just cause to hold the body, they can hold the body. I think everyone thinks that, okay, they find a body on Monday, they do an autopsy on Tuesday, they release the body by Thursday or Friday back to the family. That's not always how it works, guys. That's not always how it works. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty unheard of. I get that to you. It is unheard of. I mean, I was really surprised that they haven't released her body. And I keep asking myself, why haven't they released her body? And toxicology is the only thing I can think of. I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Lord knows that's possible. Yes, Grove. That's very possible, Christine. Very, very possible. Could a lawyer demand a second autopsy? Yeah, daffodils, they could. Okay, guys, let's think about it like this, okay? And we've talked about this a little bit before. The grand jury met and charged him, issued the federal warrant for his arrest for the Tia, I don't know. I don't know why John Walsh said that. I have no idea. But guys, let's think about this, okay? They issued the warrant for his arrest for the federal warrant for the using her credit card / debit card for $1,000, over $1,000, whatever that amount was. That was a federal indictment. Do you ever think that there's possibly more indictments that are sealed? And if there are other indictments that are sealed, that they're just waiting to find him to bring out those warrants, to serve those warrants to him and his attorney. Maybe they're waiting to see if the attorney's going to request another autopsy. Who knows? Honestly, who knows, guys? Maybe they're waiting on the grand jury to meet again. Yep. I can almost promise you that federal warrant is not the only warrant that's going to be waiting on Brian Landry. I can promise you that one. That's not the only warrant he's going to have waiting for him. They may not, even if another grand jury meets, they may keep that sealed and may not let it be not public knowledge until they have him in custody. Because, guys, if he's hiding like this over fraudulent use of a credit card or debit card, can you imagine how much in hiding he would go into if it was murder or anything like that, bodily harm, anything like that? Yes, Mojangles, I think so too. He was hiding the day or so before she was ever reported missing. And God bless that that detective that listened to her mother and said, "This is not my daughter. This is not her normal behavior. Please help me do something to find my daughter." God bless her. And guys, I was just verifying with someone else that I understood correctly the dates of September the 1st through the 3rd and September the 6th through the 8th have been verified by a news agency. Mojangles, I don't either. I've told you before, how on earth would his mother have known right where to go to on a 25,000 acre property, right where to go to pick up his car? That's like finding a needle in a haystack inside of a needle in a haystack. It just doesn't happen. But guys, we've been going now for over 2 hours, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this one, wind this one down. I'm going to be researching some things. We'll probably do another one tonight if y'all want to, and just talk about the day's events. Where are they searching today? Last night they said they were. Tia, actually, they're not searching that we can find out. They're not searching the DeSoto area to Fort DeSoto right now. We cannot verify that with the police. The news agencies cannot verify that with the police. Yeah, I've got to go walk my dog. He's laying in his bed looking at me like I've just deserted him. He's not used to this. He's used to all of my attention when it's just the two of us at home. I imagine right now, Tia, they are trying to get all their ducks in a row. They're trying to get everything lined up. So, yeah. But guys, I'll be back tonight. If anything changes between now and then, I'll try to come back on. If y'all don't mind, give this a thumbs up. Share. We are at I was going to tell y'all just real quick before we leave. We are at 494 subscribers. If I can get 1,000 subscribers, I can get the community tab, and I can post pictures and quick updates and things like that. So please share. Help me reach that. Thank you for leaving your DNA daffodils. I appreciate that. All right, guys. I love you all. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here. You can pick thousands of other channels in the world, and you picked mine, and I will never, ever take that for granted. Thank you so much. I love you all, and I'll see you all soon. Bye, everybody.